Welcome, class. We are going to discuss who influenced the Mesoamerican people. But let me give you the definition of Mesoamerica. Looking at this map, in Mesoamerica, it is a historical region and it extends from approximately central Mexico all the way down through Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and a little bit of Costa Rica. And this was the home of some of the greatest civilizations, such as the Olmecs. And let's go to the map right here, to the Olmecs, to the Teotihuacanos, the Mayans, and all this, what you see right here in red, was the territory that all the Aztecs expanded and controlled. So when Europeans first came into contact with these amazing civilizations and their cities, they started to speculate about who were the builder of those amazing sites. So they tried to connect Mesoamerica to the old world. The assumption that Mesoamericans were apparently too stupid to create the monumental architecture of our past created new false theories about the origins of Mesoamerican civilizations. All these false ideas were based on ethnocentrism, which is a term applied to the cultural or ethnic bias, whether conscious or unconscious, in which we tend to view the world from the perspective of our own group. These ideas of superiority manifest in prejudice, including nationalism, tribalism, racism, and sexism, that continues to be a part of the educational system up to today. So let's start with the lost continent of Atlantis, one of the most popular theories where the survivors may have settled. Proponents of the Atlantis hypothesis argue that survivors of Atlantis spread to Central America, giving rise to advanced civilizations like the Teotihuacanos. Another theory that deals with Afrocentrism claimed that the Olmecs were related to people of Africa, and it's just based on looks. If you notice this colossal head built by the Olmecs, the resemblance, you can definitely say that might look like some tribes in Africa: flat nose, thick lips. However, the reality is that the Olmecs practiced the Jaguar cult. They honestly thought that the Jaguar has this ability of transforming into a human. So what you see right here is a crossover between the head of a human being and a jaguar. Now, if we look further into genetics, over the past 2 decades, none of the genetic research that has been done can show any evidence of pre-Columbian African contributions to the indigenous population of the Americas. Now let's talk about the Book of Mormons and the 12 tribe of Israel. In the Book of Mormon, the Jaredites are described as people who left the old world in ancient times and founded a civilization in the Americas. Mainstream American history and literature specialists place their literary setting of the Book of Mormon among the mound builders of North America. The Mormons claim that Quetzalcoatl, which it was the god of creation, was one of their disciples that came into the Americas. He was described as a wise old man with long white beard, as you see it in the slides, with fair hair and blue eyes, and he brought super knowledge to the Mayas. Another theory deals with Chinese origins, that the Olmecs or Mesoamericans were influenced by the Qing dynasty. If you look at this mask, their resemblance has a lot of Asian features, the eyes, but as far as we know, there's no connections between the Chan Dynasty to the Olmecs. They also claim that some of the iconography found in some of the potteries done by the Olmecs are very similar to the ones that they have found during the Chan Dynasty. That's why they made also these claims. Also, the image of the dragon, which is once again, this is Quetzalcoatl. The Asians worship the dragon. The Mesoamericans also had a dragon, but it was not really a dragon. It was this creature that was half bird and half snake. And yes, the symbols that we have right here, they thought that it came from China. Another theory is that the Egyptians also came and they helped all the Mesoamericans to build their amazing pyramids. And there's so many little statues and monuments that resembles to the ones that are in Egypt, but there's no connection between the two of them. The last slide deals with the idea that Mesoamericans were influenced by people who came from different planets. And this is, yes, aliens. And that's why I wrote down here ET go home. Yes, there's a large group of ufologists who believe that the Mayans were people who came from another planet. And that's how they ended up doing their amazing calculations. That's why they were amazing mathematicians. So, as you notice, each of these theories argue that Mesoamericans were incapable of creating a unique, vital, and exciting civilization on their own. And sadly, that they needed outside agents to help them overcome their mental handicaps. And that's all for this unit. On to the next.